Right, we're gonna start again. Take 1 fucking million. Action. So today, guys, we're gonna talk about the Immaculate Ascendant boss. And the reason for this is I've seen a few of my friends struggle against this boss, so I'm going to give some tips and pointers on how to make your life 100% easier against this boss. So first off, right off the bat, we're going to start with the Boon Pistol. And the reason for this is the Boon Pistol inflicts the Haunted status effect, which also takes down the Immaculate Ascendant boss's resistances and his ethereal damage output by minus 25%. Then you're going to want the Chimera Pistol. The reason for this is it's going to inflict the elemental vulnerability damage status proc, which will take down all enemy resistances or whatever enemy you're hitting by minus 25%. So that's right there off the bat. If you hit the Immaculate Ascendant boss with those two, like I said, 50% from the Haunted infliction, 25% from the Haunted infliction, 25% from the Chimera Pistol elemental vulnerability infliction. That's a total of minus 50% to ethereal resistances that he's got. Also, don't forget the 25% minus damage output that he's going to be doing with ethereal damage. The best weapon to use against the Immaculate Ascendant boss would be an electric based weapon or ethereal based weapon, as he is weak to both. I mainly use two-handed or one-handed characters versus this boss, so I tend to use a Radiant Wolf Sword when I'm using a one-handed, and the Starchild Claymore with two-handed characters. The reason for this is he has minus 30% weakness to electrical and minus 50 vulnerability to ethereal damage. That's straight off the bat without inflicting anything. I'll repeat that again. The Immaculate Ascendant boss is weak by minus 30% to electricity damage and minus 50% vulnerability resistances to ethereal damage. Like, he's very weak. That's the weakest element he is weak against, is ethereal damage. And then the second weakest element and the best use would be electric damage, because that's minus 30%. So right there, if you count that 50% there, and the Haunted infliction status proc from the Boon Pistol, and then you've got the 25% damage from the Chimera Pistol. What is it? Elemental vulnerability. So that's a total of 50% there off the bat. And then you put that 50% with the 50% that is already weak to. That's 100% damage, ethereal damage resistances that he's weak to there. So now he's prone. He will get easily defeated by spiritual varnish or anything you put on your weapon. So it's ethereal damage. Now, if we count the status effects we want to inflict, which are the pistols, and it will make the Immaculate boss have 100% vulnerability damage, and the electric debuff will make him have 55% against the electricity damage vulnerability. And remember, the Radiant Wolf Sword or the Starchild Claymore offer huge electricity damage numbers. Combine a Spirit Varnish on this weapon with a Mist Potion and a Blessed Potion for even higher damage outputs. For instance, if you pop a Mist Potion, it will grant you the Mist Boon, which grants the player 20% ethereal damage, and also 20% ethereal damage resistances. Now, if you have the Shamanic Boon, this effect will be amplified by 30% ethereal damage and 30% ethereal resistances. So basically, you're getting an extra 10% what you wouldn't get if you didn't have Shaman. So, but if you've got Shaman, you're getting an extra percent to your resistances and your damage output as well. Instead, which grants even more damage output. Then pop a Blessed Potion, which will also grant the player the Blessed Boon. This grants 20% lightning damage and also 20% lightning resistances. Remember, the lightning boon is not for defense, it's to stack more electricity damage on your sword, granting you a higher damage output to melt the boss very quickly. Also, the effects are amplified an extra 10% if you have Shamanic Resonance Breakthrough. The Immaculate has 4,500 health and 78 impact resistances, and it also is weak to, not weak, it is also immune to bleeding and poison status effects. So if you've got poison or bleeding on your weapons, it's going to be useless, guys. It's not going to work. You won't be able to inflict those damage over time effects on that boss because he's immune to those status effects, unfortunately. But any other status effects like burning or stuff like that, ice damage, which slows down the target, or say you want to use the pain, shatter bullet and stuff, he's vulnerable to all those. But anything else, like I said, the poison and bleeding, he's resistant to, so it's kind of futile to use those things. So you want to pop a Blessed Potion, Mist Potion, you want either Starchild Claymore or the Radiant Wolf Sword, Elemental Resist Potion for 25% to all your resistances, Stoneflesh Elixir as well, so you get extra defense and stuff, Enrage for the extra impact damage to stagger your opponent, and Discipline for the extra raw damage output, Marshmallow and Tartine or Degibier for the speed buffs and extra stam regains. And then you're going to want a water with that for the even more stamina regain. And this is vital, guys. And you want a luxury tent sleep buff, which grants 20% cost of all actions, basically giving you amazing stamina regain for the fight, which is very vital, especially for low stamina based characters. This is vital for a boss fight. That is very vital, guys, so don't forget to note that down if you haven't got it noted down. Now, the Blessed Boon, the Mist Boon, and the Elemental Resistance buffs, you will stack together, granting you a total of 45% Ethereal resistances and 45 electric resistances. However, the Shamanic Boon, this can be amplified to a total of 55% ethereal damage resistance and 55% electric resistances to yourself, which is very huge against boss fights, especially the Immaculate Ascendant, because you're going to be wanting the ethereal resistances. And also, don't forget, minus 25% damage output he's got because you've inflicted him with the effect from Haunted from the Bone Pistol, which is a beautiful thing, guys, it really is. Now, the damage statistics, if you're using the two weapons like I stated earlier, and you put a spiritual varnish on those weapons, that's vital. You don't want a bolt varnish, you want a spiritual varnish, guys, because that's what he's most weak to. Not just that, you've put all those mist potions, and you've got all the, haunted infliction. If you don't put that spirit varnish on, all that ethereal damage that you're going to be doing is going to be doing nothing, because you haven't got any ethereal element on your weapon, unless you're using an ethereal-based weapon. Right. On those weapons, it will grant the Greater Ethereal Imbue, which increases base damage by 10% as ethereal damage and grants plus 15 flat-out ethereal damage, which is another beautiful thing, guys. Remember this. Always remember this. So first, we'll count flat damage on the Radiant Wolf Sword. The Radiant Wolf Sword inflicts 30 flat-out electric damage with the ethereal flat-out damage bonus combined. That's an extra 45 flat-out damage of electricity and ethereal. Then you then you got the 10% extra ethereal damage bonus from the varnish. Then the extra 30% extra ethereal damage you get from the Mist Boon if you have the Shaman skill. If not, you're only going to get the 20%. But if you've got Shaman, you're going to get 30%. That's why Shaman is OP in this game. It's the best breakthrough, tier 3 breakthrough in my opinion, hands down. I don't think you can dispute that. Right, Shaman skill, that is. Then you got to take it into consideration his resistances to ethereal damage are lowered by 100% due to Haunted and Elemental Vulnerability procs. These buffs and weapons will make your life 100% easier for this boss. And you know what? I didn't fuck up that time, and I'm proud of myself. So remember everything on that, guys. This was live streamed. That's why I'm just stood still here now. And it was very hard explaining that on live stream. I had to go through like fucking 50 attempts, but I hope this helps. Sorry if I went too fast, and I love you all. Thank you very much.